This podcast contains content related to child exploitation and criminal investigations. Listener discretion is strongly advised. The views expressed are those of the host and do not represent any official agency. All individuals discussed are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. The call came in just after sunrise. A body had been found inside of a parked car in a small trailer park on the edge of the county. It was one of those quiet places where the world feels still at that time of the morning. When investigators arrived, they found a blue coupe and a person sitting in the driver's seat. The victim was a young adult male wearing a hoodie. He wasn't exactly a stranger to law enforcement, but this wasn't a gang hit or a random act. What we later found out was that this was calculated. His phone sat on the seat next to him, screen dark, notifications silenced. And that phone, that was the start of the unraveling. Over the next few days, we'd learned that he'd been running a side hustle. Not drugs in the traditional sense, but vape cartridges, THC pens, and small amounts of marijuana. But his customer base? Teenagers, high school students. And the platform that he used to find them wasn't Snapchat or Instagram or even Discord. It was Telegram. The entire operation, the deals, the customers, even the delivery schedules, existed inside encrypted group chats. The parents of his customers had no idea. His buyers' names weren't stored anywhere. And when things went bad, when one deal turned into a setup that ended in his death, nearly everything we needed as investigators to find his killers had vanished behind a wall of encryption. It took almost 2 weeks to make an arrest. And during that time, I realized something. If this kind of secrecy can hide a homicide, imagine what it does for the people who hunt children. I'm Sean Lacey, and this is Chasing Shadows. And today we're going to talk about Telegram, the hidden network. When Telegram first hit the scene in 2013, it was marketed as a privacy app, a place where users could talk freely without the fear of being monitored. It was created by two brothers, the same pair who built Russia's biggest social media network. They wanted to build something that couldn't be censored, that could withstand government surveillance, and in many ways they succeeded. Telegram became a safe haven for journalists, whistleblowers, activists, and unfortunately, criminals. It's available in every app store, free, sleek, really easy to use. But what makes Telegram dangerous isn't the fact that it exists. It's how it works. It's essentially an ecosystem built around anonymity. You can create an account using a disposable phone number, hide your real contact information, and chat with people using only a username. Parents can check their children's contact lists and see nothing unusual because the person they're talking to doesn't show up as a phone number or a friend, just a screen name. From the outside, Telegram looks like any other messenger. Under the hood, though, it's something entirely different. Telegram is built on multiple levels of communication. First, you have public channels, huge broadcast spaces where admins can post messages, images, or videos to thousands of followers. Next, you have private groups. These are chat rooms that can hold up to 200,000 members. Then there's bots or automated accounts that perform specific tasks like file sharing or creating invite links. And the most dangerous are the secret chats, the one-on-one conversations that are fully end-to-end encrypted, leaving no trace on any server. Most users never venture beyond a small group chat or a public channel, but offenders? They live in that gray space between all of these, exploiting every feature Telegram provides to stay invisible. They create invite-only groups, where access is controlled through special links that can expire in minutes. They use bots to automate everything, from uploading files to distributing links. And when they need absolute secrecy, they switch to secret chats where messages delete automatically after being read. It's the perfect system for anyone who wants to disappear. In the homicide case, the victim thought Telegram was safe, and it was. He believed encryption protected him, that as long as he used private groups and disappearing messages, no one could trace his activities. And he was wrong. His entire customer list, mostly teens, existed in those chats. He would post pictures of vape pens, arrange meetups, and take payments through encrypted links. The day he was killed, he was lured into what he thought was another sale. Instead, it was a robbery gone wrong. When we found his phone, it was locked. But even when we did get into it, there wasn't much to find, at least not at first. His Telegram groups were gone, messages wiped, invite links expired. What made it hard was that we didn't really know who he was talking to. Telegram's encryption and privacy made it nearly impossible to retrieve those records. They really don't cooperate with law enforcement requests unless it involves terrorism. That case reiterated something about digital darkness. Privacy doesn't just hide the innocent, it hides the guilty. And that's the same darkness offenders rely on when they use Telegram to exploit children. Over time, Telegram has become one of the largest hidden ecosystems for child sexual abuse material in the world. Not because it was designed for it, but because it's perfectly suited for it. Predators use public channels as storefronts, coded spaces where they post advertisements that only offer glimpses as to what offenders find inside. Those who respond are funneled into private groups through invite links. Inside these spaces, bots handle most of the work. They post zip files, forward Mega and Dropbox links, or even create temporary file libraries that can be searched by a keyword. These bots can re-upload deleted files, auto-delete evidence after a few minutes, and they never stop. They run around the clock. Everything's traded from grooming guides to child sexual abuse material, and it happens behind these hidden layers. Each user hides behind a handle, an avatar, a string of numbers. If one group gets shut down, another one appears within hours, often using the same bot, just under a different name. It's a system that just grows in the shadows. And here's the part that haunts me the most. In many of these groups, the participants aren't just sharing material. They're educating each other. They discuss how to hide devices from spouses or even parents. They talk about encrypted drives, virtual numbers, and disposable accounts. It's a community built around secrecy, and it's global. Those tools that shield journalists and activists are now a barrier for the worst kind of exploitation. So let's break down what that actually looks like without getting too technical. If someone wants to join one of these hidden groups, they typically start in a public space, in a public channel. Maybe something disguised as a gaming group or a trading community. Somewhere in that space, an admin drops an invite link. It's a simple URL that, when clicked, opens Telegram and drops you directly into a private group. Those links can expire after a few minutes or even after clicked one time. That means that by the time that we as law enforcement find them, the links are already dead. We don't know where they lead. There's no record, no trail, no access for us. Once inside those hidden spaces, members are often greeted by a bot, an automated account that sends welcome messages and instructions. Some bots handle distributions. Users type a keyword and the bot responds with files or cloud-based links. Others check credentials, remove inactive users, or automatically delete messages that contain certain phrases. For predators, it makes the system very efficient. For us, it's obstruction. Because those bots don't have a user behind them. They're just scripts running across servers, often outside the US jurisdiction. And each one can manage thousands of users at once. When you multiply that by hundreds of private groups, each hidden behind a fresh invite link, you start to see why Telegram is such a challenge for law enforcement. It's not that the crimes are invisible, it's that the infrastructure of Telegram makes them untouchable. When we worked that homicide case, the encryption kept us chasing shadows. With exploitation, it's the same wall, only higher. Telegram's secret chats are truly end-to-end encrypted. Messages are stored only on the devices that send or receive them. Telegram can't see them. And once they're deleted, they're gone. Telegram claims that it can't retrieve them. It can't access them. Now, not every conversation happens inside these secret chats. Some offenders use regular cloud-based groups or channels, which technically are stored on Telegram's servers. But here's the catch. Unless the company wants to voluntarily cooperate, we can't access that data. Telegram's official stance has been that they will only release data for terrorism-related investigations. Everything else, from drug trafficking to child sexual abuse material, often gets ignored. So when we issue subpoenas or preservation orders, we usually get silence. That forces us investigators to rely on device forensics if we can locate the devices, use open source intelligence, and other tools at our disposal. We look at usernames and thumbnails and link structures and payment trails, and we try to piece together the puzzle one fragment at a time. But that makes these cases incredibly difficult to identify an offender. But it's something that we refuse to stop doing. For kids, Telegram's danger isn't the encryption itself. It's the false sense of security that it gives. A teenager might download it because a friend uses it, or because it looks sleek and private. They might join a public group about gaming, music, or art, completely innocent. But inside that group, when someone drops an invite link, and that link leads elsewhere, that's where the danger starts to creep in. Because it leads to a smaller group, a secret chat, and in that chat, at least one predator may be waiting. This is how it starts. A friend request, a compliment, a promise of Robux or a free skin or access to something exclusive. From there, the predator moves the conversation to a private space, and within minutes, what looked like a harmless app becomes the first step in the grooming process. I've seen it again and again. The predator doesn't change, no matter how often the platform does. The predators just adapt. And Telegram gives them tools that make adapting easy. So what can you do as a parent? Start with awareness. If your child has Telegram, or if they mention it, that's a flag. Ask why. Who they're talking to. Remember, Telegram isn't a social platform. It's a messaging system that hides communication by its very design. Check their devices for Telegram and browser-based access to a website. If they say they deleted it, check the App Store history. If it is downloaded, it'll show up there. Look for unfamiliar usernames or invite links. Ask if they've been added to private groups or servers. And most importantly, talk to them about why online privacy isn't always safety. Use parental monitoring tools like Bark and Aura and TrueMe, not to spy, but to protect. Many of these tools can alert you when encrypted apps appear on a device or when conversations contain certain high-risk terms. We're going to cover some of these platforms in upcoming episodes. But just know, you don't have to understand encryption to protect your child. You just need to know where the shadows are. When I think back at that homicide case, I still see the pictures of that car in the trailer park. I can still see the screen of that phone lighting up as we did forensics, and the messages that were locked away behind encryption. Now, we eventually caught the suspects, but not because of Telegram. We caught them because of good police work from my team, good interviews, an old-fashioned investigation. But that case reminds me of something that I carry into every digital forensics investigation. The technology will always evolve faster than the law, and predators will always find ways to exploit it. But that doesn't mean we as investigators or we as parents give up. It means we adapt. It means we educate ourselves so that we can educate our kids. It means that we have to build a bridge between technology and accountability. A place where privacy exists, but not at the cost of safety. If encryption can hide a killer, it can hide a predator. And if we don't understand how these systems work, we'll never be able to protect the people most vulnerable to them. And that is why we as parents have to constantly chase shadows. Because when you shine light into the dark corners of the internet, you realize the truth. It's not about fear. It's about awareness. And awareness saves futures and it saves lives. Thank you for listening to Chasing Shadows. If this episode helped you understand Telegram and its risks, share it. Talk about it with another parent or a teacher or a friend. The more we understand how these platforms work, the more power we have to protect our kids. Please follow the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you're listening. Check us out on Instagram at ChasingShadows_Sean Lacey for checklists and resources. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for talking about this. Thank you for connecting to this podcast. And thank you for standing with me in this fight.